Hey everybody, my son Pace is 3 years old and we have not the biggest Lego blocks you can get, but they're kind of like medium sized, and every time we play with them I always want to build some kind of car or truck and something like that actually is something I know about. And every time we start playing he just wants to build a tower. And of course, he always wants to build a tower in a way that doesn't even necessarily stand up as it should. Like, he'll put a really small piece on the bottom and put a bunch of big pieces on the top, and it just always falls down and he gets super frustrated about it. And I think that illustration is a little bit about how we are with trying to relate to God or look for God in our life, right? Often we are always looking for God to be showing up in big and spectacular ways. And often when God doesn't show up how we expect, we begin to doubt. Like, is God even present? Is he real? Is he someone I should believe in? And I get it. It's frustrating when what you're hoping God will do doesn't happen. I get how it's easy to doubt in those moments. But you see, I think part of the problem is that our expectations for God are the problem. How we expect God to show up is based on what we think, what we understand, rather than on what God has revealed about himself. And God is God. He knows far more than we do, and he will always know far more than we do. But one of the things that we have with God that he has given us is that even when our expectations fail, he is still always present. So think of a crappy situation where you expected God to show up. Maybe a boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you, or someone you really cared about moved away and you were hoping they wouldn't, or whatever that situation may be, you are hoping that God's going to show up. And even though he maybe doesn't show up how you expect, he is still present with you. See, I think our relationship with God is like how my son deals with Legos. He has his expectation of what should happen, and his expectation often doesn't work out. The thing he wants to do crumbles under what he is able to do. Whereas if he were to maybe pull out the instructions like the Legos that he has came with, and if he started building from the instructions that he was given, from that kind of foundation, I think the tower would hold up a lot better. And see, I think that's how God is with us. Our expectations are always going to bring about doubt because our expectations aren't the full truth of who God is and what he does. But God has given us hope that he is with us no matter what. Even when our expectations aren't met, God is with us. And see, there's this really cool promise in the Bible that we find out about Jesus, that during his first stint here on earth, before he leaves his followers for a time, he promises them that as they keep following after his way, that he will give his presence with them in the form of his Spirit, God's Spirit. And see, what's cool is that even when our expectations fail in certain situations and God doesn't show up as we want, even though we want him to show up in the spectacular, crazy, awesome ways, he does do that, and he's done that throughout history. But when he doesn't show up like that every time, we can lean back on the truth that God has revealed about himself, that he has promised to be with us with his Spirit, that we are never alone. No matter how ugly or painful a situation may be, God is with us. We have that promise that we can lean on, and God's promise is far sturdier to lean on than our expectations and our understanding. Hopefully that gives you a different perspective of how to lean into God during those moments. I'll see you next time.